Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Malone. Today I'm going to be speaking about the life of my great-grandfather, Jay Benson. He was such an inspiration and encouragement to my family throughout all of his successes and failures. I'm going to be speaking about his childhood, getting a family of his own, going to war, and his achievements. I want to start off with a quote by Alex Haley that I thought exemplified my great-grandfather and family very well. The family is our refuge and our springboard. Nourished on it, we can advance to new horizons. In every conceivable manner, the family is the link to our past, bridge to our future. And that was by Alex Haley. The words that really struck me in this quote is family is a link to our past, bridge to our future. I almost wanted to input Jay is the link to our past, and Jay is the bridge to our future. He started with nothing and paved the way for my family's success. Jay's childhood didn't start out with success. When he was 3 years old, his dad passed away, and when he was 6 years old, his mom passed away. He had a brother that was 2 years older than him. They were separated into different family members when his mom and dad passed away. Jay wasn't working out in many of the homes that he was put into, though. He was passed around from family member to family member, and then at age 15, he was put into an orphanage. Jay found a job working as an iceman to make enough money to be independent and to get out of the orphanage. When my grandmother was telling me about this, she had to pause to explain what an iceman did. For those who do not know, icemen sell or deliver ice to people to their home because back in the day, believe it or not, refrigerators that made their own ice and electrically kept food cold didn't exist. So when he was working as an iceman, he met my great-grandmother, Margaret Fran. In 1937, Jay and Margaret got married. He was 20 years old and she was 17. In 1939, they had their first child, Jana Sharon, and that's my grandmother. 2 years later, they had another girl named Loy Beth, and Jay had transformed into a family man. However, when my grandmother was 4, he got drafted into World War II. Jay was a part of the Army Infantry. He served in Germany and in France. He was also in the Battle of the Bulge, which was said to be the beginning of the end of the war and Hitler's last stand to beat the British and American armies. It was an interesting story that has been passed down through my family. It was said to be that the night that, or the day after Jay was dismissed from the army, the man who stood in his place was killed the very next night. That was just a really, really interesting story that my grandmother was telling me about. And when he returned from the war, he wanted to do better for his family, and so they moved to a new home, got a new start, and across the street from their new home was the Dairy Queen. My grandmother told me stories about how every Sunday they would walk to go get ice cream after church, and Jay became very familiar with the owner of Dairy Queen, and using the opportunities that he could, he decided to open a Dairy Queen of his own. In 1949, he opened one of the first Dairy Queens in Texas. His Dairy Queen was the first to have a drive-through, which I thought was really cool because every fast food place that you see now has a drive-through, and his was the first Dairy Queen to actually have a drive-through. He continued his business and soon joined other associations, including being the president of Chamber of Commerce in Athens, Texas, other clubs and organizations as well. Jay never retired. He passed away at 90 years old, and he was honored with the Citizen of the Year award that year. So I spoke about, his childhood, starting a family of his own, going to war, and his achievements. All in all, my great-grandfather was a huge inspiration to anyone he met. He was a very generous man that worked hard for all that he had and accomplished. The family is our refuge and our springboard. Nourished on it, we can advance to new horizons. In every conceivable manner, the family is the link to our past and bridge to our future. My great-grandfather is the exact example of this quote and what it takes to advance to new horizons. Jay is my family's link to our past and bridge to our future.